Starting with the Arrowhead Invitational. Patrick Mahomes is 4-2 in AFC Conference Championship games. He's never lost to Josh Allen in the playoffs. He's looking to get one step closer to the never-accomplished three-peat. If he wins on Sunday, this is the optimistic version. The pessimistic version is coming in 8 minutes. What does this mean for his legacy?
It means if he never plays another football game again, worst case scenario is the second greatest quarterback ever.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah,
that's good.
So this is with winning Sunday and then unknown what happens this in the Super Bowl. Here's what it would look like.
If he went 3-2 in the Super Bowl. Okay.
Well, so we don't.
Let's do one step at a time.
You're saying worst case scenario. So let's say they do lose
they
the
win
Super Bowl.
Sunday, lose, and he walks away.
Okay.
He's like, you know what I mean? I'm done. My work here is done. Here, so he will. The graphic for Super Bowl starts in a 6-year stretch. By the way, so he will have that record, and also the 5 Super Bowl starts will be the second most ever with Elway behind only Brady. He'll be second place in Super Bowl appearances. He's already second place in conference finals. He's second place. He will be second place by himself in playoff wins with 17. And he will potentially, if they were to win the Super Bowl, be tied for second place in Super Bowl wins. As far as his career against the other guys kind of in the discussion for second best quarterback ever that I hear more than others. Now, maybe some people will be like, I'm a Dan Marino guy, but those are the names I hear. Again, even without the Super Bowl win, to me, he'll have him clocked. And so that's the career comparison.
So you would put him, because I've already said I think he's second best, but the argument would be Montana.
The argument would be Montana. The counter argument to that is the Mahomes has won Super Bowl, the first one, without an all-time defense. Montana didn't. Montana, those teams were stacked on both sides, and I just think his overall resume and the fact that he never had down years, all of it, I think he's already the second greatest quarterback ever.
Agree,
and I think you agree, but I think this would have it all trumped. But what's to me more interesting is this last one. It would be the greatest 20s in any of the big 3 major sports.
Stay on here for a second. There's a lot to consume here.
So Gretzky, by the way, again, this is our annual reminder that Wayne Gretzky was just a make-believe person because he won 9 MVPs before he turned 30. They do it a little different in hockey. They're like, is he the best guy?
Right.
That makes sense.
He wins.
You're the great one.
They got it right. The rest of us have it.
Well, we got to give one.
So here are, the other guys. So it is Ruthian. Mahomes would be the only one of anyone on this list with 3 finals MVPs or championship MVPs, Super Bowl MVPs. Now, to be fair to Ruth, they didn't give that out when he was playing. But it is Ruthian. And he clocks Jordan. He clocks LeBron, except for in MVPs. It would be the greatest, and he annihilates Brady. It would be the greatest 20s of anyone in the big 3 sports, meaning football, basketball, baseball.
Michael Phelps, wasn't he?
Not trying to disrespect hockey or anything. Of certainly the last 100 years, and arguably ever in this country, depending on what you consider Ruth. Kareem won 5 MVPs in his 20s, but only won the 1 title. Right. So that I didn't put him on the graphic because I thought
college was superseded.
Right, and I'm talking about as a pro. So that's what it means. It's the greatest 20s of any team sport athlete in the big 3 sports.
I think that would be debatable because of the last 2 seasons, the regular seasons. Like Jordan, LeBron, Gretzky, they never had so-so regular seasons.
I really
Certainly
think
not in their
you've
20s.
overstated the so-so nature of this regular season.
He's got a 92 passer rating over the last 2 years.
Right. What's Josh Allen's?
That's not good. Josh Allen hasn't won any MVPs in these last 2 years. He might, but he might not. Probably won't. And Josh Allen's got the rushing touchdowns that trump his passing touchdowns. You can't deny, and I know he's clutch and he's a leader, and in the playoffs he ramps it up, But these 2 regular seasons, you mentioned it yesterday, and I had talked about it before. It'd be like LeBron averaging 18
No, it would
points.
be like LeBron averaging 26.
No, it wouldn't. He has a 92 passer rate. And I know you want to split the season in half and say after those first 8 weeks he was great. It still was. What was his passer rating after that? 100?
I don't want to split the season in half. What I want to do is say Peyton Manning, after he won the Super Bowl, did not have a passer rating in the hundreds the rest of his Colts career, 4 straight years in his prime. Aaron Rodgers, after he won his 2nd MVP, 4 of the next 5 years had a passer rating in the 90s. The idea that
where
a passer rating mid-90s, like where
Mahomes
Patrick
is like 92 last year,
and 96 or 93 this year. So the idea that there is a quarterback in NFL history that has even the majority of their seasons, much less all of their seasons, passer rating in the hundreds, it's not true. And we can so that's if we.
But so you're gonna sit here and say his last 2 regular seasons were what?
B+.
Great?
B+. They were B+. I think the LeBron averaging 15 a game, I think, is crazy.
It ain't 26 a game.
Okay, so
he didn't even make the Pro Bowl this year. It'd be like LeBron or Jordan not making All-Star team.
No, I don't think it would be quite like that because it's not, again, because everyone who's excellent in the NBA makes the All-Star team. So that's different than
it's actually only, it's fewer guys.
It's not fewer. Again, like I think that we have just like Mahomes this year had he had 7 game-winning drives. The most in NFL history is 8. We talked about how excellent he was in winning time, so to speak. And then, Hubs, if we can just show it, him versus Josh Allen the last 2 years. Josh Allen is the guy that we thought was going to win MVP. And it was going to be because of the things he has done there. And Mahomes last year was worse, right? And this is, by the way, if Josh Allen were to beat him, just for the record. Those numbers, the touchdowns, the passer rating, Josh Allen has him by 3%. 3%. And we're saying this is the pinnacle of a future Hall of Famer's career and what Brew is calling basically a 2-year slump. Yeah. So I think that is.
But unfair. And you said it. You've said it in reference to Lamar. What has Buffalo done over the last season and a half? Taking the ball out of Josh's hands. Like last year when they went on that 5-game or 6-game winning streak at the end of the season, it was because they stopped looking for Stephon Diggs, stopped throwing the ball as much. Josh wasn't putting up big numbers. They were running the ball, including him running it. This year, his numbers aren't special because they haven't thrown it as much as a lot of other teams.
Where did he finish on Brew's ballot?
Oh, he was second. Because he didn't have – I thought for him to – get this team to how many wins? 13 wins? Yeah. With that supporting cast, only one other Pro Bowler was magnificent. And he did have some incredible moments. Like you said many times, he beat Detroit. He beat Kansas City. He was terrific in a few games, right. The 6-touchdown game and
I guess
things
my
like
question is, based on that scale, the Josh Allen scale, where does Mahomes' regular season stack up? Because we want to do
I think he justifiably was left off the Pro Bowl.
Okay.
Like I think 3 quarterbacks certainly in the AFC had better seasons. So I just think that I'm with you in that. I think he's the 2nd best quarterback ever already. And there's an argument for best athlete period in his 20s, but that would be the pushback. Like this is not 26 points a game in the NBA. And that's where you might have an argument for a Jordan or LeBron or obviously a Gretzky, but otherwise, I'm on the same page as you. He's Lamar, Burrow, Allen, everybody, Jaden, if you want to throw him in. They're all competing against Mahomes.
I buy that.
Mahomes is competing against Tom Brady.
Correct.
And this, to me, this win would just be another step toward getting there.
Just real quick, would a win end that competition?
A Super Bowl win?
No, him beating Josh. That's the point I was trying to make yesterday that I maybe made clunkily, and I didn't mean to. The point that I was trying to make is if Mahomes wins Sunday,
right.
Is there anything that can happen during the 2025 NFL season that would allow for someone to say, let's take Jaden out of it, because maybe Jaden beats him in the Super Bowl, that any of the AFC guys are better than him? That's the point I was trying to make yesterday.
So.
Like,
really?
If Mahomes wins this game and gets to another Super Bowl?
If he wins this, it depends. I don't want to be Mr. Style Points, but the odd part of the graphic that you showed was, and I wasn't prepared to talk about Babe Ruth's stats in the 20s. When he was in the 20s.
Brew was.
When was he, when did he double up the home runs? I don't know how old he was when he did that. I assume he was in the, but he's like, I hit 60 home runs and the second guy hit 28 or whatever it was. I don't know, watching Mahomes have a year that prioritized winning over individual dominance. That throws a wrench into my thinking on this. 2 years. But the goal is to win. And he says the goal is to win, and I buy it. But I just don't remember Ruth being like, you know what? I had to take a lot of just walks. Well, no, there.
Yeah. I don't think he's trying not to. I think Nick Mahomes entered this season thinking MVP.
But then
he told us that.
Right, but when 3 of your top 4 wide receivers are gone by week 4, it changes. That's the other piece, and then we can do the when he loses thing that just frustrates me about some of the Mahomes discourse is the numbers were not historic, no doubt about it, to his standard. You know what I mean? They were good quarterback numbers, is what they were, and in the fourth quarter, third down stuff, excellent. That's where he was excellent. But it was under circumstances that I don't think anyone believes Joe Burrow or Lamar or Josh Allen would have put up superstar stats. If by week 4 of the season, any of those guys, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 4, running back 1 are on IR, and your superstar tight end that everyone loves is he's actually at a different place of his career, or what I thought, saving it for the playoffs. I don't think there is a player in the league that would have had demonstrably better numbers than Patrick. And so that's where, that's the part that I find
it's not like Josh had everybody, Josh had Keon Coleman out there before they got him on. But I like Keon. He was in and out.
What they had was the team they planned to go into the year with. That's the difference that I'm saying. They had planned to go in the year, the Chiefs did, with a certain team.
Well, he lost Hollywood and Rashid.
He lost Hollywood right before the season. He lost Rashid 3 weeks into the season. He lost Pacheco 4 weeks into the season. And they lost, it wasn't McCall, whomever it was. That's the pushback.
We feel he's the best quarterback in the league, so that may be right, but it's just hypothetical. You know
all right, flip side, if Josh Allen replicates his regular season victory and Mahomes walks out of Arrowhead a loser brew, what would a loss mean for Mahomes?
Well, look, obviously the legacy is the legacy, but in the moment right now, that unofficial title of best quarterback in the world, which I think just about everybody still gives him that, I think that's what he would lose. Josh Allen beating Lamar and then beating Mahomes, and looking at Mahomes' last 2 years, I think people would start to feel and say Josh Allen. Not everybody. I would not. I still would think Mahomes is the best. But I think a lot of people, most people probably on TV, would start saying Josh Allen. Some are already saying it. But I think this would be their reason to say Josh Allen is the best. And because right now, Mahomes, and we have a graphic with his numbers the last 2 years, Nick, and this is where he ranks in the league. This is what I'm talking about. It's not 26 points a game in the NBA. You see where he's at. Only one thing is in the top 10, and some aren't even in the top 15. And that's the last 2 years. So right now, what Mahomes has to still keep us saying he's the best. Now, again, he's been clutch. He's been the great leader, and he's got the intangibles, and he's made the big plays when he has to. Mm-hmm. But what keeps us saying he's the best is he wins. And if you take away the wins, now it's just, okay, he's still awesome, but we put Josh, a lot of people would put Josh.
So I think Josh would have to win the Super Bowl for that to happen. And Hubs, I lied to you. Do bring back that other graphic, because this is where I think the Mahomes stat stuff, I would get it if it were Lamar or Burrow, who just had unbelievable statistical years if they then beat him in the playoffs. That argument. I don't buy it. Last year, you just talked about it. Last year, Josh's numbers were pedestrian. This year, the big thing for Josh was the exact thing we're saying is the one thing Mahomes has. He's making winning plays. He's figuring it out.
Sure.
And when you put their 2 years together, if we can, again, side by side, this is the numbers if Josh wins.
But that's the last 2 years.
Yeah.
What about this year? I think there's a bigger gap between them this year.
No, definitively. There is a bigger gap between them this year. The point I'm making is they will have split the playoff appearances. If Josh then goes on and loses the Super Bowl, I think it's going to be a hard putt to be like, hey, who's the best quarterback in football? And it's like, oh, the guy, wait, how many MVPs does he have? 0. How many Super Bowl championships does he have? 0.
Of course, the past would favor Mahomes. And even Lamar, regular season.
Right, and so I think Josh does have a path to where, even if it's not on this show, to where he is called the best quarterback in the NFL. It involves what he did last week, which he didn't do a ton, but winning that game, winning this week, and winning a Super Bowl. I just think, I don't know if there's, I just don't know. I'm trying to think, is there a precedent for someone to be widely considered the best quarterback in the NFL before they've ever won an MVP or ever won a Super Bowl?
Well,
I don't think so.
If he were to go to the Super Bowl and lose to Jaden Daniels, a rookie, I think you got a great point.
Well,
it'd be hard to say he's the best. Some people might start throwing out Jaden.
Oh, I think Jaden will be called the best. If he
won the Super Bowl,
yeah, if he's 1 for 1, if Jaden,
I don't know if I could put him ahead of Mahomes.
If he took the Washington Commanders,
but
would have 4 wins to Super Bowl champion?
Sample size.
Yeah, you got.
I get it.
You got 6 months of football. It wasn't just
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
We're not at Thanksgiving.
Jaden can do it.
Josh Allen proving that discretion is the better part of valor. Last Sunday review, Bills up 5, about 4:30 left, 3rd and goal, stuffed, but sees James Cook and says, you know what, I could probably get it to him. He was asked about his thought process.
This is a great answer.
New Josh?
Well, 2 things can be true. Yeah, it's a new Josh. And I also think he was going to pitch that ball.
Definitely.
If you watch it in slow motion, and we had the slow-mo video, first of all, one of his own offensive linemen grabbed the ball. They're not going to be able to see it this fast, but grabbed the ball. And I think that just happened. No, I don't think he was trying to. I think it just happened in the scrum. And then a Raven grabbed it too. He had no way to pitch it. If he had tried, it would have been a bad fumble. But I will say this. If he had been able to pitch it and done it, it could have been a great play. James Cook, as you see, is wide open and easy walking through.
40
the question is, could he have gotten it far enough? Because it's about 10 yards.
Or does 40 just almost accidentally,
you
know what I mean, knock it and then scoop and score, win the game?
It would, but I do think he wanted to pitch that ball.
Of course he did.
There's no doubt about it, and would have. But I'll say this, look at this graphic. Josh, while reckless in the regular season, has not been in the playoffs. He gets better, like Mahomes, in the playoffs. Everything is better in the playoffs, and TD percentage is the same. So this is where, Nick, when we talk about who's the second best quarterback in the league,
this is
where he trumps Lamar, because Lamar hasn't been as good in the playoffs as close. And
Wilds,
he has.
What's my Josh Allen take that you hate the most? That involves his first career playoff game.
His first career playoff game?
Josh Allen, in the overtime or in the 4th quarter of his first career playoff game, was running up the sidelines, panicked, and threw the ball blind over his head backwards.
I don't hate that take.
And my take has always been, if that person is in you, that person will always be in you. And Hubs, I don't know, can we run the play? This is the same guy that on the 3rd play of the AFC divisional round game last year, this was not designed. It also, by the way, one of the many times the refs who are rigging the games for the Chiefs miss a blatant penalty on the other team that was massive, because that was forward, does that. So Josh will always be fighting against this version that he really wants to be deep down. I give him massive credit for successfully fighting the good fight all year. And maybe this will be more in the game preview tomorrow. I do not think he will be able to fight the good fight on Sunday.
Really?
I think he is going to, I think the Bills are going to live or die with vintage Josh Allen on Sunday. I do. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.